Let's start with a simple, almost uncomfortable question. How many times has someone eaten white bread thinking that if it didn't hurt or cause any discomfort at the time, then everything was fine? That thought is the first mistake. The body doesn't warn you when something starts to go wrong, it compensates. And this compensation happens silently in the first few hours. The small problem he solves right from the start is clear. There's no need to stop eating bread now, but it's essential to understand what happens next. Because ignoring this causes the body to work against the person without them realizing it. In the 24 hours following the consumption of white bread, the body undergoes reactions that almost no one notices. Not because they are weak, but because they are too rapid to be felt. And that's exactly why what begins in first few minutes. It's so important. Even before digestion is complete, something has already changed inside the body. And what happens in the first few minutes? After the first bite defines everything that comes after. It all starts in a deceptive way. As soon as the first bite of white bread happens, the body doesn't even need to think much. The bread is soft, simple, easy to break down. In a few minutes it turns into sugar inside the body. It's as if the body receives a quick energy boost, effortlessly. On the outside, the person feels comfortable. It seems like they made a good choice, something light, something normal. The brain likes that sensation. It interprets it as something positive and responds with a small feeling of satisfaction. That's why so many people associate white bread with comfort, a peaceful breakfast, or a quick snack. Nothing hurts, nothing triggers an alarm, and that's precisely where the silent danger lies. While the mind relaxes, the body enters accelerated mode. Sugar enters the bloodstream too quickly, and the body needs to act fast to keep everything under control. It's as if someone pressed the accelerator without warning. The person doesn't feel it happening, but the process has already begun. And the most curious thing is that this beginning seems too harmless to raise suspicions, except that what happens soon after completely changes the story. Because when the body reacts so quickly, it always exacts a price a few hours later. And that's when something that almost no one expects emerges. About an hour or two later, the body is no longer as calm as it seemed at the beginning. The sugar from the white bread entered the bloodstream too quickly, like a wave. To prevent things from getting out of control, the body kicks in and releases a large amount of insulin. It's as if the body is saying, "Calm down, that's too much at once." From the outside, almost no one notices. The person might be sitting, working, studying, or watching something, but inside, the body is working hard to lower blood sugar. And it's at this moment that something curious happens. Energy levels suddenly begin to drop. That initial energy disappears without warning. Many feel sleepy, have difficulty concentrating, or experience a strange feeling of tiredness. Others become irritable without knowing why. It seems like a lack of rest, but it isn't. It's the effect of that rapid peak that is now being corrected. The most deceptive thing is that nobody connects one thing to the other. Few imagine that a simple piece of bread, eaten hours before, is behind this silent change. And when the body lowers this sugar too quickly, it does something unexpected soon after. Because without warning, a hunger arises that doesn't match the time that has passed since the last meal. And this hunger holds an important detail that almost no one notices. This hunger that appears is not ordinary hunger. It's not an empty stomach craving real food. It's the body trying to rebalance itself after the excess that came before. Even having eaten just a few hours ago, the person starts to feel the urge to eat again. And it's not just anything. Usually it's bread, sweets, biscuits, something quick. For those experiencing it, this seems confusing. The person thinks, "How can I be hungry so early?" But the body isn't asking for nutrients. It's reacting to a rapid drop in blood sugar. It's like a swing that went up too fast and is now falling sharply. Let's compare it to a child on a very fast ride. First comes the excitement, then the discomfort. The body tries to return to normal, and in this attempt ends up sending the wrong hunger signals. It's not a lack of willpower. It's a chemical warning happening inside. The most curious thing is that if the person eats something similar again, the cycle repeats itself. Quick energy, quick drop, more hunger. And while this is happening, something even more silent begins to change elsewhere in the body. Because while the mind feels hunger, the gut is already reacting in a way that almost no one imagines. While a person goes about their day thinking everything is normal, their gut has already begun to feel the effects. White bread provides almost no fiber or real nutrients for the beneficial bacteria that live there. It's as if the gut receives something that passes by too quickly, without helping those who live inside. These good bacteria are important because they help with digestion, immunity, and even mood. But when food doesn't cooperate, other, less friendly bacteria take over. None of this hurts. There's no clear sign. It's a silent change, happening gradually. It's like feeding a garden only water without nutrients. For a while, everything seems fine. But inside, the soil becomes weak. The intestines begin to work less efficiently, and small inflammations can appear unnoticed. The strangest thing is that nobody connects this to the bread eaten hours earlier. People think the problem is stress, routine, or tiredness. But the body is already trying to adapt to something that didn't help as it should have. And while the gut silently deals with this, another part of the body kicks in to try and keep everything balanced. That's when, a few hours later, the body starts showing even more subtle signs. After several hours, the body begins to enter adjustment mode. It's not something visible in the mirror, nor easy to pinpoint. It's a strange sensation that appears gradually. Energy rises and falls without warning. One moment the person feels fine. The next they feel tired, discouraged, or have difficulty concentrating. Many people think this is due to a long day, work, or lack of rest. But the body is still dealing with that peak and trough that started long ago, with something that seemed too simple to have an effect. It's trying to balance blood sugar, hormones, and energy all at once. Let's compare this to someone tidying up a house after a quick mess. On the outside, everything looks normal. On the inside, there's still effort going on. The body expends extra energy to keep everything functioning, and this takes a toll on mood, focus, and even patience. The most curious thing is that almost no one connects these signals to what they ate hours before. It seems like an exaggeration to think about it, so the idea is dismissed. But the body doesn't forget so easily. And while he tries to reorganize himself, something important begins to repeat itself without the person realizing it. Because when the next meal arrives, the body responds in a different way. When the next meal arrives, the body no longer reacts as before. It has learned the fast track. If more white bread, pasta, or something similar appears, the body responds even faster. Blood sugar rises rapidly again. Insulin rushes to try to contain it, and the cycle repeats itself without asking permission. To the person, this seems routine. Eating, feeling energized, then a strange tiredness. Eating again to cheer up. It doesn't seem like a problem. It just seems like the day is happening. But inside, the body enters an automatic pattern, like a button that has been pressed several times in a row. The more someone goes down the same path, the deeper it gets. The body does the same. The more it repeats this type of meal, the easier and faster it reacts in this way. And the faster it reacts, the less stable the energy becomes throughout the day. The most dangerous thing is that none of this draws attention. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't scream. It doesn't stop the person from going on with their life. It seems too normal to worry about. But silent patterns are the hardest to break because nobody notices when they begin. And after many hours at this pace, there comes a moment when the bread has already left the body, but something important is still stored inside. That's what appears when the 24 hours are almost complete. After almost a whole day, the white bread is no longer in the stomach or intestines. It's gone. But that doesn't mean everything is back to normal. The body doesn't work like a blackboard that erases itself. It learns from what happened. During those 24 hours, the body registered how to react quickly to sugar, how to release insulin rapidly, and how to demand more energy soon after. This learning is stored. It's like teaching the body a shortcut. The next time something similar appears, it already knows exactly what to do, even if it's not the best way. On the outside, a person wakes up the next day thinking everything is fine. They slept, rested, the day has turned. But on the inside, small responses continue to occur more easily. Energy still fluctuates. Hunger appears earlier. Mood changes for no clear reason. Nothing strong enough to be alarming. Just frequent enough to become a habit. Let's make it clear that this is how small things turn into big problems over time. Not because of one day, but because of the silent repetition of many identical days, and that's why almost no one notices when it starts. But the most important question comes now. If such a common food does all this in 24 hours, why does almost no one talk about it? That's what he begins to explain next. Almost no one talks about it because the effect isn't immediately frightening. There's no pain, no clear warning, no alarm going off in the body. White bread seems too commonplace to be questioned. It's on the table, at school, at work, everywhere, and everything that's commonplace goes unnoticed. Furthermore, the body is very good at hiding exertion. It compensates, adjusts, and manages on its own. The person continues living, working, studying, so nobody connects the small signals to what was eaten hours before. It seems like an exaggeration to think about it, and that's why the subject is often ignored. This is comparable to a small leak at home. At first, nobody sees it. Only when the damage grows does someone notice. The same thing happens with the body. The problem isn't an isolated day. It's the silent repetition, every day, without awareness. That's why this topic is almost never explained this way. It doesn't generate immediate fear, but everything changes when it's understood. And when someone starts observing these reactions, they begin to see other common habits in a new light. And that's where the next question comes in. If white bread already does all that silently, what happens with something that enters the body even faster? In the next step, he starts talking about a drink that many people consume every day without realizing it. Understanding white bread changes how a person looks at simple daily habits, not because bread is an isolated villain, but because it shows how quickly the body reacts to certain choices without warning. When someone starts observing these reactions, they realize that many things that seemed normal in their routine were actually just being ignored. The most important thing is not fear, but awareness. Knowing what happens inside your body empowers you to make better choices, without excess and without guilt. Small decisions made every day build great results over time, for good or for bad. But before finishing, he leaves a final warning. There is something even faster than white bread, something that enters the body in seconds, causes even greater spikes, and is almost never associated with the effects it causes. Most people consume it without thinking, believing that the impact ends with the sweet taste. In the next video, he will show what happens inside your body in the 24 hours, after a breakfast with plenty of sugary foods, and why do the effects begin even before the glass is empty. If this video opened your eyes, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and don't miss the next one. It's essential.